Hey anyone, I'm Hawk, and with the most recent announcement of Battlefield 6, I thought it would be applicable to do a tier list video on Battlefield games, the ones that I've played anyway. I've been playing Battlefield, or I started playing the Battlefield games all the way back with 1942, pretty close to when it first came out. I was younger, but I loved the game. And then Vietnam was where I really started to fall in love with it. But Battlefield Bad Company 2 was probably the best experience I ever had with Battlefield. But let's look over these Battlefields. Let's organize them based on my opinion, what I think, where they belong. And if you agree with this, let me know. And if you think I'm stupid, also let me know. But let's just get right into it. We'll start in chronological order, at least as far as I understand it with the Battlefield games. If this is out of order, well, fucking sue me. But first we have Battlefield 1942. So, Battlefield 1942 was pretty fucking cool for the time. This was when Call of Duty was fairly big, but nowhere near as big as what it became. And Battlefield was doing things a little bit differently. This is also when Medal of Honor was around, if anybody watching this ever played those games back in the day. But Battlefield 1942, it had single player, but you could also play it multiplayer, and it had really cool environments with multiple vehicles and aircraft and tanks and cool classes and shit. Had your classic traditional World War II battles, stuff that you've seen in movies and TV shows. It was really fun. I had a really good time playing it, but if we're looking at it from the lens of today with multiple Battlefield games to compare it to, I've got to put it in decent, and that might piss some people off maybe? I don't know. I don't know if anyone who, plays Battlefield today even played the original 1942, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun with it, but it wasn't a game that I wanted to come back to as often as I did some of the other ones on this list. So for me, it was decent, arguably good, but I'll put it in decent for now. And after that, I think came Battlefield 2. Was it It might have been Battlefield 2. I'm asking like somebody's here. I think it was Battlefield 2. It was that or Vietnam. So we'll do Battlefield 2. Now, I only played a little bit of Battlefield 2, but from what I played of it, it was pretty fucking good. I know that it still has a very active community today, especially with mods. There's a couple of really big mods that are being worked on or maintained effectively for Battlefield 2, and it's a really good platform for cooler shit at this point. But back in the day, before it became a platform for cooler mods, it was still a really good Battlefield game. It was a good shooter. It was a fun time. It was also set in the modern times, and that was interesting, especially for when it came out, because it was kind of if I remember right, kind of the beginning of, the modern warfare type of game that we've seen with shooters. So it's cool. I like it a lot. It's good, but I didn't get as much time with it as I really wanted. After that, I'm pretty sure was Battlefield Vietnam. Now, Battlefield Vietnam, I'm going to put also in good. It could be the best. It could be one of the best, but I don't know. Battlefield Vietnam 1, the soundtrack was fucking incredible. It has all the, classic 60s and 70s songs that you would associate with with Vietnam, given Vietnam movies and shows and shit like that. So, and even just songs that came out at the time about the war itself. Really good fucking soundtrack, really good gameplay. I picked up little bits of Vietnamese from some of the audio that you'd hear in this game. I don't know if any of it's accurate or legit, but it was an interesting time, a really fun game. My grandfather fought in Vietnam. That's not something that I'm really proud of, but it's a war and time period that I've always been very interested in, because I've seen a lot of other people. I've seen the aftermath of this war from a lot of different angles and in a lot of people personally. So Battlefield Vietnam was really cool, good time. I enjoyed the shit out of it, and I think it was good. It was very good. And after that, I think it was 2142. If I'm getting this wrong, again, whatever, fucking screech at me in the comments, that's cool. But Battlefield 2142, I never played it. I never played it. And I've heard both good and bad things about it. I don't know how it is. I'm not going to say that it's good. I'm not going to say that it's bad because I never got my hands on it. So it looks interesting. I would have liked to have played it, but at this time I didn't have a computer. And this was when Battlefield was still exclusively on the computer, if I remember correctly. So I didn't get to play it, but I wish I had. And maybe, I don't know, if there's a way to fucking buy it today, I might play it at some point just to see what it's about. But after that, I don't know what came next. I think it was Battlefield Bad Company. I'm pretty sure it was Battlefield Bad Company that came out after 1942. No, not 1942, after 2142. Now, Bad Company is going to be in very good. Or good. We'll just call it good. This is good, very good. Bad Company 2 spun the formula with Battlefield, and it created a different kind of environment. It set a new standard. It rose the bar, so to speak, with Battlefield games. It had better destructible environments. It had better vehicles. It had better everything. It had a narrative story, which I think was the first time we saw that. Maybe that happened in 2142, but again, I never played it, so... But Bad Company had everything. It was fucking awesome. And this was on the 360, if I remember correctly, as well. And that's where I played it. And it was just a good time, because at this point, Call of Duty was really starting to blow up, or basically already had blown up, and Battlefield offered a different approach to a multiplayer shooter than Call of Duty did. And the lines have blurred a little bit, I guess, at this point, even though both franchises have kind of gone to shit. But Call of Duty was more of a Twitch shooter, effectively, and I don't mean the website Twitch. I mean like a reaction shooter. So whoever was quickest and whoever, cheesed the most and knew the maps the best would wind up getting all the kills. But with Battlefield, you had your point gameplay and everything, which I liked more than most Call of Duty game modes, but you also had a gameplay setup that rewarded intelligent playing, instead of just memorizing the map and being very fast, which I liked Call of Duty for what it was, but I thought playing Battlefield was always way more rewarding than Call of Duty, and Bad Company was really where that clicked for me more than anything else. Bad Company 1 in particular. But after that, I think, again, it was Bad Company 2, which to me is the best. Bad Company 2 took everything that 1 did and just turned it up to 11 and made it even better. The campaign was fucking crazy. The multiplayer was incredible. It, again, rose the bar and set the standard for destructible environments in a multiplayer shooter. It could not have been beaten. Like, there was nothing at that time that did multiplayer FPSs better than Battlefield 2, in my opinion. Again, if you feel differently, that's fine. But this game was the fucking top of the shit heap when it comes to shooters. This is a game that I would still play to this day if I owned it on PC, because I don't own it on PC. I had it on 360. But I would play the fuck out of this today, and I don't even know if it still has a live community, but I assume it probably does, just way smaller than it used to be. But this is a game where one of my, some of my most fond memories with shooters come from this game when it comes to whether it's being in a ghillie suit and sitting in a bush and just blowing people away with a fucking shotgun because nobody expects you to sit in a bush with to actually use a ghillie suit and to have it actually work. That worked in Battlefield Bad Company 2. To being a support helicopter pilot, flying around the helicopters that could transport people. And I love fucking taking people to and from the battlefield. I love taking people and exfilling them in hot situations where they'd wind up, dying if somebody didn't come in to bail their asses out because they went too deep without enough, support. I love doing that kind of shit. Being a medic, I love the medic. 1, because it's a medic class, and I'm a fan of a medic class in anything. And 2, because you get a giant fucking machine gun, and it's just the best of both worlds. So, I love Bad Company 2. It'll always be one of my favorite multiplayer shooters, and it's a shame that I don't get to really play it today. But after that, I'm also pretty sure was Battlefield 1943, and I'm going to put that in good. It was kind of a soft like DLC for or spin-off DLC kind of thing for Bad Company 2 that was a jumping point from 1942. It was the Battlefield 2 or Bad Company 2 engine and setup in 1943 with, you know, the Pacific Islands and a focus on the Americans and Japanese and that side of the war. Really cool fucking setup, really cool front, really cool place to explore. Had really good air combat. I liked the airplanes and flying around and blowing people out of the sky and getting blown out of the sky by someone better, because there's always someone better. But really fun, just kind of a continuation of Bad Company 2, just in World War II in the Pacific Theater. So it was good. I'd put it in the best, but it wasn't as good as Bad Company 2, in my opinion. And after that, I don't know if it was Hardline or 3. I want to say it was 3. And I'm going to put 3 in the best, I think. I'm going to put 3 in the best up there with Bad Company 2, because I had, like, when I think of Battlefield, I think of both Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3 and the memories I have with them playing with friends and playing with randos and just the crazy fucking shit with the destructible environments and the vehicle combat and stuff. It's just, these games allowed, like, these games gave players a big enough sandbox to allow for some really, really memorable and crazy shit to happen almost every match. And players created their own, like, tactics for shit and like the C4 buggy and shit. I'm pretty sure that started in Bad Company 2, though I could be wrong. Maybe 1. Maybe even fucking early. Maybe it was Battlefield 2. I didn't play enough of that to know, but shit like that. You'd have players coming up with these ingenuitive and crazy fucking tactics that kind of became the rule book of today with shooters. You had environments that wound up being like, you could play cat and mouse with people in the high points. You know, people would go to certain places, you know, people would look for certain positions and you could wind up moving around them and fighting them over those positions, or using that to your advantage by not going there but getting another position that looks over the positions people want. It was crazy. Like, you had to actually think about shit. And again, Battlefield in this era rewarded thoughtful gameplay. It wasn't just fucking run up to the enemy holding the trigger down and hoping you hit something, or fucking, you know, being the twitchiest person in the room and knowing the map because you played, you know, 1v1s for 500 fucking hours. Like, it rewarded thoughtful gameplay, and it rewarded teamwork too. And I don't know how you played it, but I would play Battlefield games using cover and moving, you know, without sprinting everywhere and fucking taking my time with shit. And I was very, very good at it. And I know a lot of people who I played with did the same shit, and they were very good at it too. Those types of people, myself included, would have just gotten our asses handed to us in a lot of Call of Duty games. So it's a different game for different people. But, Battlefield 3 was one of those two games that I think of with Battlefield that will always come to my mind. And again, I'm sure it still has an active fan base today, but I don't really play it. And then I think after that, or around that, was Battlefield Hardline. I'm going to say that was decent. The multiplayer sucked ass. It was fucking god-awful. But the concept was pretty cool, with like a cops and robbers kind of thing. And I think if it was implemented in a better way, it could have gotten bigger. But, excuse me, I need water. It was a good idea, executed in a bad way, and I wish it was done better, because I would have probably played this a hell of a lot more. But the campaign was interesting. And then after that, we have Battlefield 4, which to me, maybe this is controversial. Maybe this is something that'll piss people off. I don't know. But to me, it was decent. It was decent. I still had good memories playing Battlefield, but Battlefield 4, I should say. But Battlefield 4 is where I started to taper off with the Battlefield games. This is where I started to get a little like disenfranchised, and I didn't quite like where it was going. Destructible environments weren't as good as they were in previous games. The vehicle combat wasn't as fun as it was in previous games. The operator type shit was a little weird. It was also the third time they had done Modern Warfare in a row, or third or fourth, in fact, fourth or fifth, actually, time they did Modern Warfare in a fucking row. And it got kind of boring to me. And it's a shame, because I'm sure, like, for the people who stuck around with Battlefield 4 more than I did, it was probably a lot of fun. I just didn't have that much fun. I was also splitting away from my friend group at the time that I played Battlefield a lot with. We were growing distant and everything, so I just kind of split from Battlefield in general at that time. And then after that comes Battlefield 1, which this one I'm going to put in good. Because I did come back to play a decent amount of Battlefield 1 with a new friend that I made, actually, at work at that time. He and I would play Battlefield 1 together, and I love World War 1. I love the period. I love the history. I love the stories and shit. The campaign for Battlefield, or campaigns, I guess. It was a campaign of multiple campaigns, like multiple stories. It was really fucking good. I really liked Battlefield 1's single-player and multiplayer sides. The gameplay was kind of back to the basics of, gnashy, hardcore, fucking gritty infantry, explosive fights with some vehicles. And even though the vehicles weren't as cool as they were in, Bad Company or Battlefield 3 or whatever, it still felt cool driving around a fucking tank over trenches and shit. And then, melee weapons and shit like that, and the horse riding with the swords and shit. That was cool. It's just cool. And it's a unique time period we don't see enough of. But this game also came out in an era where Verdun, the game Verdun, was big. I mean, not nearly as big as Battlefield, but I would have taken Verdun over Battlefield 1 any day. So it was good. But it just wasn't what I wanted, I guess, from Battlefield. It wasn't what I was really looking for after all this time from a Battlefield game. But then after that, we have 5, which to me is somewhat playable. I played a very tiny bit of this. I didn't like what I played. I put it down and basically refused to buy another Battlefield game past that. It's not quite dog shit. I think a lot of people give it a lot more shit than it earned, but it's just not that great. And again, we're back in World War II, which I want to see some more like modern World War II games. I just don't think Battlefield or the Battlefield formula is the type of World War II game that I would personally like to see. And I think that sentiment has probably been echoed through enough people at this point. So it was somewhat playable. Never have to play it again. Not a huge fan of it. It was eh. And then, I don't know where the fuck Battlefield Heroes fits in here, but I'm going to put that in dog shit just by looks. No, I never played this one. And I know I said I'm not going to say that 2142 is or isn't dog shit because I never played it, but I could just tell that Battlefield Heroes is fucking dog shit, so I'm going to make that call without having played it. And then finally we have the newest Battlefield. I think this is the newest Battlefield. I kind of stopped keeping track, so never played this one. I haven't played this one. I've seen a lot of people talk about it. I've heard a lot of shit about it. It doesn't look like something that I think I would like. And with how gaming has gone in the last 5 years, give or take, it's not something I would trust my money with. And that brings us around to Battlefield 6. And maybe this list is missing some shit. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of checked out after Battlefield 4 for the most part. But Battlefield 6 looks pretty fucking promising. And I'm, for the first time, kind of excited to see what we're looking at with a Battlefield game once Battlefield 6 comes out. I'm not gonna fucking pre-order. Nobody watching this, if anybody watches this, better pre-order. We do not fucking pre-order games in the year of our Lord 2025, okay? If you're pre-ordering games, you need to have your fucking face slapped at this point, okay? Stop pre-ordering games. But it's okay to be cautiously optimistic. And the key word there is cautiously. I hope Battlefield 6 is what it looks like it may be. But I am also prepared to accept the fact that it might not be. And we have to wait it out and just fucking see at this point. So, if you're a big fan of Battlefield, if you're an old school fan of Battlefield, if you've been playing it for as long as I have, let me know down below. Let me know what you think about this list. Let me know if you agree, disagree. What do you think about the new Battlefield coming out? I want to know what people think about it. So let me know, and thanks for watching. Stay safe.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Give us a like if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you didn't.
Let us know what you think about the channel.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Tell your mom.